are there any other things that you're looking for in early stage founders or startups that are, you know, you seem like you're obviously more of a niche focus with autonomous and, you know, robotics and whatnot, but are there any other key factors that you've noticed that translates to success, right? Even from your experience at Uber and Google as well,
Yeah.
besides team and execution, are there any other factors that you've seen work really well?
Yeah, I think when you come across a founding team that have a personal frustration with something not being solved in the world, and it's not about forming a company and getting a nice title and maybe an exit. It's about it just has to be solved, and they'll do it in the most efficient vehicle to do that in. And usually, it's because the company they're working in or the organization they're associated with just either doesn't have the time, budget, or interested to do what they want to do, right? So that then forms a startup, which usually has all the expertise, energy, and understanding of the problem space that is needed to go off and tackle that problem. So when I see that in a founder, and if it really does correlate with a deep understanding of what they're up to, if it's technical or non-technical, they still need to have that deep understanding of, you know, the market and where the world is heading towards. And like a concrete example of this is a passion I share with a founder called Scott Richardson, a company called Up Content that we invested in. And they are a marketing technology company, if I was to generalize. And there's where I see the future going is if you think of, so we started out with like Twitter and Facebook, right, as a way for just the average person to socialize digitally, right? And then LinkedIn kind of very slowly came up and was a place to post your resume, and now it's a very active forum to discuss more professional topics, whereas Facebook, you know, you can have arguments over going back to school policies or random stuff. But LinkedIn is obviously for the professional version, right? But still, what's missing is individuals, typically within companies, right? If you think of name any big brand, I don't know, Coca-Cola, right? Coca-Cola will make press releases, but they'll be very formal and they'll come from the marketing or the PR department, right? And maybe they'll appear as an ad or as a LinkedIn article, whatever. But what's missing here is, what about the trillions of people who have the expertise, the passion, and the insight to actually write those articles which are relevant to their circle of professional friends and acquaintances, right? LinkedIn only gets you so far as an audience. And both from a publisher and a consumer point of view, it's quite constrained. So what Up Content does is allow you to source a relevant article, curate it with your opinion, your expert opinion on, whether it's true, whether it's not true, where this feature is headed, and then push it out through all the various digital platforms. So what actually happens is that if you were to see where this is going in the future, large companies will be self-perpetuating in their own brand and allow their employees to be building their own brand, right? While helping the company's brand, because they have this social need to share their expertise and their opinions. And that platform doesn't exist outside of Up Content. So I'm extremely excited to, I think excited is the wrong word. It has to happen. The world needs this because we're missing so much expertise and passion from the average employee that's not pushing out content today.
Yeah, I think it's really, really cool. I was checking it out earlier. I came across him, I think a couple of years ago when, obviously I'm from Pittsburgh, but I spend a lot of time in other cities and stuff. But, I think the future is definitely curated and quality over like quantity and, volume, if you will, right? I think everything needs to start going more towards curation, quality, and all of that. And I think this has a really good opportunity to help with that. You know, it's a big part of what our focus is with Entre as well, because as you know, the entrepreneur mindset and lifestyle, whether they're in a startup or solopreneur or small business or a freelancer, it's very different than the corporate professional lifestyle, the 9-to-5 lifestyle. And that's a lot of what LinkedIn has to offer. For us, we're building a similar functionality-wise platform to LinkedIn with some more features, but it's curated more for the self-employed individuals than the employed job seekers and stuff too. But I think regardless, a platform like Up Content, it kind of gives everyone that ability to either, you know, create high quality content and then have a way for it to get distributed out through people, you know, and with a lot of automation added into it as well through their platform. So it's really, really cool. It's just upcontent.com if anyone wants to check it out. Yeah, it's really, really cool. So yeah, I think, you know, we've hit on a lot of great points here. Another question I always like to get into, especially with everything going on right now, is kind of the current state of the market, right? Obviously, some industries are getting crushed. Others are growing like crazy. What have you seen? What are your thoughts on all of this that's going on? Are you know, actively still investing? Are you still looking for, are you looking for certain areas to invest in? What's your thoughts on just the current state of the market and everything right now?
Good question. So I'm not specifically looking for any trends, so to speak, that are emerging out of COVID, because I think those are perhaps jumping on a bandwagon or too obvious, therefore too late. I'm sticking with what I understand. In terms of what am I seeing in the market, I'm actually seeing a mix of no change to an uptick in investment activity. You know, I could procrastinate all day long about why that may be, but it's probably, you know, narrow and subjective for me to do so. But clearly the public markets, everyone thinks are going to crash tomorrow, but then they just go up again tomorrow. So maybe putting money there isn't something that people are doing. Gold is obviously maybe considered overpriced now, right? Bitcoin, I don't know where your opinion on that is. So investing in startups, which are basically isolated from the crazy, right? Because nothing's going to happen for 6 to 10 years. So they are heads down building product that will emerge in a few years and start to get traction, are well isolated. So it's a good place to put your money from that extent, from that point of view.